tonight's message, a little stutter shouldn't stop you. And so we all have things we want to do in life and places we want to go, right? We all have our ideas about how to get there. We have our ideas if we're actually equipped to get there, And I'm here to tell you, if you're following God's plan, if you're following God's plan in your life, you're not only equipped, you're not only going to get there, but you're going to do what you're going to do, and you're going to do it with excellence. But what if you can't see that right now? What if you can't see that right now? What if you're caught up in your mess right now, and you don't know how to get out of that mess, much less see a plan from God? Because we always hear God has a plan. God has a plan. God has a plan for your life. And I know God has a plan for everyone's life. God has a plan for my life. But what happens when you're stuck in the mire and you can't see that plan? Recovery is always possible, and with that recovery comes knowing God's will and path for your life. When you get on the road to recovery, when you get toward those 11th and 12th steps, God's plan is going to become ultimately more and more clear for you, because you're going to have worked through the stuff that was holding you back. You're going to have worked through the stuff that was making it hard. I want to read a text tonight. It's out of Exodus 4. And we're going to jump in here. Moses is having a conversation with God. How cool would that be, right? To just have a conversation with God. And he's talking about getting the Israelites out of Egypt. Let's kind of join in here in Exodus chapter 4. I'm reading now the New Living Translation. It said, but Moses protested again. What if they won't believe me or listen to me? What if they say the Lord never appeared to you? Then the Lord asked him, what is that in your hand? A shepherd's staff, Moses replied. Throw it down the ground, the Lord told him. So Moses threw down the staff, and it turned into a snake. Moses jumped back. That kind of freaked you out too, right? I understand why he jumped back. Then the Lord told him, reach out and grab its tail. So Moses reached out and grabbed it, and it turned back into a shepherd's staff in his hand. Perform this sign, the Lord told him, and then they will believe that the Lord, the God of their ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, really has appeared to you. Then the Lord said to Moses, now put your hand inside your cloak. So Moses put his hand inside his cloak, and when he took it out again, his hand was white as snow with severe skin disease. Now put your hand back in your cloak, the Lord said. So Moses put his hand back in. When he took it out again, it was healthy as the rest of his body. The Lord said to Moses, if they do not believe you and are not convinced by the first miraculous sign, they will be convinced by the second sign. And if they don't believe you or listen to you even after these two signs, then take some water from the Nile River, pour it out on the dry ground. When you do, the water from the Nile will turn into blood on the ground. But Moses, listen to this is where it gets interesting. But Moses pleaded with the Lord, O Lord, I'm not very good with words. I never have been, and I'm not now. Even though you have spoken to me, I get tongue-tied, and my words get tangled. Then the Lord asked Moses, who makes a person's mouth? Who decides whether people speak or do not speak, hear or do not hear, see or do not see? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will be with you as you speak and will instruct you what to say. But Moses again, he's talking to God here. Second time, Moses again pleaded, Lord, send anyone else. Then the Lord became angry with Moses. All right, he said, what about your brother Aaron the Levite? I know he speaks well, and look, he's on his way to meet you now. He'll be delighted to see you. Talk to him and put the words in his mouth. I will be with both of you as you speak, and I will instruct you both what to do. Aaron will be your spokesperson to the people. He'll be your mouthpiece and will stand in the place of God for him, telling him what to say. And take your shepherd's staff with you and use it to perform the miraculous signs I have shown you. I want you to notice tonight 3 things from this conversation with God. First of all, complaining is going to get you nowhere. God doesn't want to hear us complain. It literally does no good. We can get upset and we can talk to God. God will listen to us complain. God understands when we have a complaint, but ultimately, complaining to God is not going to do any good when God has a plan for you. God has a plan set forth. Just to tell you this, I was 2 weeks away from going to Bible school when I was in going to college and decided not to go, and it took years and years and years, and here I am now, I'm a pastor. God won't stop chasing you for his purposes. Our attitude has so much more to do with where we are in life than we'd even like to believe. Your attitude, where you put your mind, where you put your thoughts, and where your attitude is at, that has so much to do with where you're at in life. I know you may not think it does, but if you have a negative attitude, I promise you, you're at a negative point in your life. If you have a positive attitude, I see people that have things in their lives that are unimaginable, but they have joy. And I wonder, how is that possible? It's because their attitude. They have an attitude of joy. That doesn't mean they're happy all the time. It means they have an attitude of joy. Now notice, God had a plan for Moses, and he was going to see that plan happen with or without Moses complaining. Recovery is hard, and we have times when we self-loathe, but don't get stuck there. You won't see God's plans when you're stuck focused on yourself and how you think things are. Notice what I said, how you think things are. How we often think things are is not reality. It's not reality. God can see from beginning to end. He can see from infinity to infinity because there really is no beginning and no end. He can see the middle when we can only see from here on back. And he can see all that's ahead. He's got a plan for you. He's got a plan. And we can't stay stuck on focus on how we think things are. Instead of complaining, next time you feel down, try thanking God for the many blessings you have. Thank him for life, guys. We saw last night someone's life cut so very short. And I don't have all the answers for that. But every day, thank God that you're alive and you have another day to serve him. And you have another day to make an impact in somebody else's life. We're not here on this earth for us. We're here for others. And I know one thing about Bruce Allen. He made a lot of people smile. Every time I see somebody post on Facebook about him, it's always, your smile was contagious. Your smile was awesome. Your smile was this. And that says something. We're not here for ourselves, guys. God hears your complaints, but he would rather hear your gratitude and thankfulness. And next, second, a little stutter won't stop the plan. Moses lamented that he couldn't get the job done that God gave him because he was slow in speech and he stuttered. Moses didn't think he was qualified to carry out God's purposes, even with God himself audibly telling him what they were. Most of us don't have God talking to us in a loud voice directly. Most of us have to rely on that still small voice for God's direction. How much harder is it for us than Moses to see what God's plans are and how to carry them out? Yet Moses still, even hearing God's voice, didn't feel qualified. If you feel unqualified to do what God has asked you to do, listen to this. If you feel unqualified, listen to this. I'm starting at chapter 10. But Moses pleaded with the Lord, "O Lord, I'm not very good with words. I've never been, I'm not now. Even though you have spoken to me, I get tongue-tied and my words get tangled." Then the Lord asked Moses, "Who makes a person's mouth? Who decides whether they speak or do not speak? Hear or do not hear, see or do not see? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will be with you as you speak, and I will instruct you what to say." God himself is going to lead you and even speak for you in situations. You say, "I can't tell a person about Jesus. I don't know all the answers. I can't tell that person. I can't witness. I can't do the Great Commission God gave me to do," which is incidentally part of step 12. God will give you the words to say. That's the Holy Spirit in you that lives in you, and he'll give you the words to say. Even with a little stutter, whatever that stutter is for you, whatever that tripping point is for you, God can use you. Do you see the title for my message now? Your stutter may be anxiety, it may be depression, it may be your fight with drugs or alcohol. Whatever it is, God is bigger than your stutter. But also remember, if you refuse, God will use somebody else. And I'm not going to go back in there and read about how God decided to use Aaron, but basically, God became angry with Moses. You know, God can get angry. It's okay. And he got angry with Moses. He was disappointed, and he's like, "Why is this guy? I'm giving him everything he needs, and I'm equipping him. But you know what? I'm going to get my purposes across, so I'm going to use Aaron. Moses is going to have to go along for the ride, but I'm going to use Aaron as a big part of this. God wanted Moses to do the work, but because of his constant complaining, and he upset God, and instead God used Aaron the way he wanted to use Moses. You notice Moses was still along for the ride, and he had work to do. He still did the miracles and and all that stuff. God just had to maneuver the plan a little bit. Don't make God move plans for you. When you hear his voice, be obedient and move. You may say, I can't do this or that thing. I've done that. I'm like, God, there's no way. Even with your power, I can't do this thing. But God is bigger than your stutter. God is bigger than anything in your life. And God's wanting to co-labor with you. He's wanting to work with you, walk with you, and do life with you, and make an impact on this earth for the positive with you. Are you going to let him?